Hey guys, it's Two Bricks, and this is a monumentous occasion. We are going to be finishing out the original trilogy of Star Wars today in the Fleet series. This is going to be all of the ships that I've made from Return of the Jedi. We're looking at them all right here. It's really not that many. And actually this one is a stray from Empire Strikes Back that I actually just recently made, so it didn't make it into that video. This is the TIE bomber that was giving Han and Leia a lot of trouble when they were trying to evade the Empire. So yeah, we're going to take a look at all the ships today up close, as per usual, and then I'll give you guys an overview of all of the ships so far from the original trilogy, and then next video we'll be moving on to other eras of Star Wars, so that's really exciting. So let's dive right in. Alright, we'll knock this one out first since it comes from the previous movie and technically shouldn't even be here. This is the TIE bomber. The reason that I hadn't made it for a long while is that I think I just kind of got stuck on the wings, and then I realized that once I had done Darth Vader's TIE Advance that the wing system is pretty much the same. So I just kind of came back to thinking about this again. I put it out of my head for a long time, and then I was like, oh yeah, I can just knock out a TIE bomber using the same system. Oh, and here's the regular fleet TIE fighter next to it, so you can see for scale. So yeah, this guy's pretty simple. It's got the, this is kind of the bombing section, I believe, and then this is where the pilot sits. And it has those same kind of TIE Advanced faceted wing configurations. And you can see these guys a lot in The Empire Strikes Back during the asteroid belt sequence where they're bombing, they're kind of carpet bombing the whole area to try to drive out Han and Leia. Yeah, it's a very simple design. It just, once I cracked how to do the wings using this illegal technique, which is to put the clip and bar pieces together and then jam this Exoforce hand in between to hold the whole body in place. Everything else just kind of fell into place after that. So yeah, there's the TIE bomber. And then sticking with the Imperial theme, we have the Lambda class shuttle, which can be seen transporting Darth Vader around and also taking Luke over to see the Emperor. And this is also significant because it's the ship that Luke steals to escape the destruction of the Death Star 2. And so without this bad boy, Luke Skywalker would have died. So I was struggling for a long time on how to get the cockpit to look just right, because it has this really iconic long black windshield that also wraps around the sides. So I really, really wanted to get that in there properly. And once I figured out how to do that, the rest was just a matter of just kind of simplistic, like you've got the wings on top, or the wing on top is built with just kind of standard bricks on top of bricks techniques. And then the side wings are just made out of plates, and I'm using clips holding onto Exoforce hands for the dual cannons at the front. And then I'm using these lever pieces to kind of show the housing for where a couple of other additional laser cannons would be housed. The wings can fold all the way up, so that's a cool look, definitely for the landing. And then under here would be where the ramp would lower down for the Emperor to come down and inspect his troops. And I like the way that this kind of acts as a stopper piece for the head. It just tucks right into that little hole right there and just holds it perfectly in place. Yeah, so this was a really, really fun one to do, and again, I was surprised by how gigantic it is in comparison to other ships. I mean, just this wing alone is like bigger than so many of the ships that I've built so far, and that's only, you know, one of the 3 wings. I believe that the front area here can seat, I think it's like 8 crew members, and then obviously there's all the space in the back as well for passengers. Oh, and I just have the simple representation for the engines back here. So yeah, this was a really, 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 really fun one to do, and such an iconic Star Wars vehicle that it's always a pleasure to represent something that's so well known and just kind of really try to get all the shapes. So there you go. There is the Lambda class shuttle. All right, next up we have the sail barge belonging to Jabba the Hutt, and the skiff that goes alongside it to transport prisoners to their deaths at the Sarlacc pit. We'll start with the skiff because it's so simple. It's literally just, what is it, 5 pieces? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. It couldn't be any simpler, really. I just have this bucket handle for little winglets on the side, and then just the indication of kind of the sloped off front. And you could imagine the characters standing around here waiting to be pushed to their dooms. So yeah, really, really simple. But again, has to be in there. If you see the sail barge, you know that there's going to be a skiff nearby. And then for the sail barge, the thing that was most tricky really was just figuring out what to use for these sail pieces. And since there's not a lot of variety in the dark brown, in the dark orange in my collection, I was kind of limited. But then when I happened upon these, they were just so perfect because it evokes exactly the right kind of triangular shape. You can angle them to the side so they look like they're catching the wind, like the studio model has. And then, yeah, it's just perfect. And then for the deck, I like the way that these side plates kind of come up and create this little kind of lip that sort of suggests like the side of the decking. So you can imagine a human being running around on that kind of interior space, and it really feels like a place where people can be. There's a couple of simple representations for, like, there's these windows along the side, and there's this little platform that sticks out of the back. I'm not sure if that's supposed to have, be able to have people standing on it, but I don't ever see anyone in the movie standing on it, but that was something I wanted to get in there as well. Yeah, I would like it to come to a slightly more gradual point at the front, but there isn't really a piece to kind of achieve that at this scale. So I think, it has a little bit of a stepped look, but that's okay. I think it works all right. And then, yeah, there's same little kind of winglet designs on the side. This time I'm just using the 1x1 quarter round brown tile to represent that. And that's the sail barge. Pretty simple. And finally, rounding out the Rebel fleet is the A-Wing and the B-Wing. These are a couple of really interesting, unique-looking craft that it took a lot of effort and trial and error to figure out exactly how to represent them the best way. There's so many interesting and unique features to each one, and the scale represents a real challenge when trying to get all of that recognizability into the design. So we'll start with the A-Wing. It's a very sleek craft, and I tried to keep it as thin as possible, and I still wanted to be able to get like these back fins because that's a super recognizable part of the A-Wing. But basically this thing is like a sports car with a couple of booster engines attached onto the back, and I really wanted to try to capture that look. So I'm just keeping it 2 plates thick right here, and I have these little grill plates on the side just as kind of greeblies to kind of suggest there's some laser gun detail in there, and some stuff that's a little too small to represent with physical detail, so I just wanted to kind of hint at that a little bit. And then with the B-Wing, I was always confused when I watched these movies why this is called a B-Wing, because all of the other craft in the Rebel fleet look like the letter that they're representing, except for this one. Well, it's called that because it's the blade wing. It's basically like a giant sword that slices through the sky. So yeah, this one was a really interesting challenge. It's predominantly using this long bar piece with the kind of ending attachment that's part of it. That makes up the main section of the body. And then in the real model is this kind of vent or open section in the middle. So I wanted to leave a hollow stud or the bottom of a hollow brick open for that. It's an interesting thing because the cockpit on the ship swivels so that the pilot is always level, even though the ship itself is rotating all around in all different configurations. So I just have this little Technic half bushing to represent that idea, and that's just attached to one of these super useful bar end pieces with the ball on it. So yeah, I love those. Those are great. The wings can actually fold down as well, and right now the stand is attached to the wing, so that'll go with it. But yeah, when these things come into land, they fold up their side wings like that, so they can rest on their side, like so. And so that was something I wanted to capture in there as well. And then this is a look at the entire Rebel fleet from the original trilogy with the X-Wing, A-Wing, B-Wing, and Y-Wing. There is, of course, the U-Wing that has kind of been retconned into being part of the Rebel fleet, but I'll be showing that to you guys when we do the Rogue One video. Alright, you guys, so since this is the wrap-up of the original trilogy, I'm going to give you a look at all of the ships together. Here we have, all the Rebel fighters together, including the Snowspeeder, and then we have kind of, I guess the Millennium Falcon technically is part of the Rebellion, so that should be over there, but We have the kind of unaffiliated Tatooine vehicles. There's Slave 1, all the Imperial stuff back here. And then some kind of more miscellaneous craft back there. The Rebel transport and the Rebel blockade runner and the medical frigate. A lot of Rebel stuff in this. Unfortunately, I couldn't represent a Star Destroyer, which is kind of the backbone of the Imperial forces, on account of a standard Imperial Star Destroyer being 13 feet long at my scale, which is just a little bit outside of the realm of possibility for me right now anyway. That would be a fun thing to try to tackle at some point in the future when I am a millionaire and can afford all of the bricks that it would take to make that. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed the series, I know I certainly have enjoyed it up until now, and it's only going to get more interesting as we get into the prequel era. I would love if you guys could leave a comment and a like, subscribe for more videos. If you guys didn't like it, thumbs down and let me know what I'm doing wrong and what I could do better. So that's it for now. Thank you very much, and may the Force be with you.